us to be getting into some really cool editing and having a lot of fun pulling out the old artistic license. Today we're going to make this image. I'm going to link it in the description below. This way you can follow along, download it, and follow along with me. We're working with Photoshop. I'm working with Topaz Studio 2, Adjust AI, and also Luminar 4. This is going to be a fun episode, so get your creative hat on, get out that artistic license. At the end, I'm going to show you how to put a mat around your image using Topaz Studio 2. It's going to be really cool, so stick with me till the end, and let's go ahead and get started. So here's the image we're working on today. We're going to have some fun with this one. We're going to let our minds go free. Let's be artistic today, and I just want to show you guys, everyone out there, I do have my artistic license, and you notice it's presented to me, David Kelly, so I do have an artist license. I hope you have one too. If you don't know where to get one, just leave me a comment and say, where can I get this, Dave? And I'll tell you where to get it. Okay, and one good thing is once you get this artist license, it never expires, which is really cool, and you don't have to pay dues for it either, so it's really nice. So you're free to create, so let's get creating here. I think I'd like to start this journey out by coming up to the filters and going into Topaz Labs. I love Topaz Studio 2, but I've been really enjoying Adjust AI lately, so I'm going to open up Topaz Adjust AI. There's something in Adjust AI that I thought I would never use, but after I did my last video about Adjust AI and saw the power of the actual HDR setting inside of here, I thought, this is pretty cool, especially when you don't know where to go with an image. Try this HDR style setting right here. So let's go ahead and click this and see what we get here. Give it a few seconds to process out here. And look at that. Okay, so let me just click on the canvas. Here's the before and here's the after. Now it's done some things here with some colors in here, and that looks okay. And then we could come in here and we can play around with some different settings in here. But I do love the HDR look on this. I think I'm going to make a black and white image out of this, so I'm not really worried too much about the colors. But let's play around a little bit with the, let's see, with the clarity a little bit here. I'm going to see if I can make those. Yeah, see if I can make those. Again, we have an artistic license, right? So I want these clouds to get a little exciting here. I'm thinking Indiana Jones. This is where my mind is going, something like in a movie or something like that. So, hey, we can have fun. We can create, and that's what I want to do today. So let's give it a little bit of clarity. Let's try a little bit of low. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of low in there. I don't want to go too crazy with it, but let's try medium and just play with these things. Just see what they do. That's kind of fun, but I'm going to pull that back a little bit. Not quite as much. Now let's try the high. I think I'm going to go to the left with the high, but let's start to the right. Let's be brave. Let's go to the right first. I'm going to go to the left now. Yeah, I just want to go to the left a little bit here. So I'm liking that. So if I just click on the canvas here, there's a before and after. And you can also come up to the split here. And you can just drag this across and see the before and after. But that's looking pretty cool, right? Hey, we're off to the races here. I'm just going to go ahead and click apply and see where we go from here. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate my background layer for my next step. So that's Command or Control J to duplicate the background layer so we can work non-destructively. And by the way, I just want to let you know my workflow inside of Photoshop. I don't really save out my images with a bunch of layers unless I'm not done with an image. Then I'll save it out with layers. But I generally, when I'm done with my image, I'll flatten it out. So I don't really do too much with smart objects and things like that. Because every now and then I'll get people saying, well, that's a weird workflow. You don't use smart objects. You know what? I flatten my images. Like I'm creating art, and when I'm done, I feel like I'm done. I'm satisfied. Because I work hard to get it looking the way I want it. And when I feel like it's done, it's done. But if I'm not really sure if it's done yet, I will save it with layers and then come back and finish it later. And then I'll flatten it at that point. Just thought I'd throw that out to you. Anyway. So I duplicated the background layer. So now I'm going to, this is all about fun and creativity today. So I'm coming to filter and I'm going to Skylum software and I'm going to Luminar 4 because I'm thinking, what about some birds? Let's add some birds to this scene. And let's use that new feature of Luminar 4 called, and it's in the creative section here. So let's open that up. And that is called AI augmented sky. Let's get rid of these looks down here for now. And let's AI augmented sky, object selection, and let's find some birds that would work. So I clicked on birds, and I like these birds, and almost right where they're at right now looks really good, okay? But you can come here to place object, and you can come here and move these birds around. But you know what? I kind of like them right where they are. Now you can change the size by adjusting the transform. You can transform this, make it larger, smaller, whatever you want to do. You can angle it. You can do all kinds of things, but it looks good. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. I'm just going to click on place object again and get rid of that. But I like that right there, you know, and you can adjust the amount, you know, how they blend in. But I'm going to let that full amount in there. I want them to be pretty dark, and we can come into advanced settings and we can do some adjustments here. We can defocus them and things like that. But I'm going to leave them in focus for now. I think that's good because I am thinking of black and white conversion, and I'm done right here, so I can just click apply. But this is the way I work. I use my different tools. I love Luminar. I love Topaz. We're going to go into Topaz Studio 2 as well here real shortly here. But we're back in Photoshop here. And Photoshop to me is my hub. I work from there. Now, sometimes I work straight from Luminar, and sometimes I work straight from Topaz Studio 2. It really depends. So I'm all over the map. But I don't like to be tied down. Whatever mood I'm in, that's the software I'm going to work with that day. And today I feel like working out of Photoshop. So that's what I'm doing today. And so far it's looking good. So the next thing is a black and white conversion. Next, we're going into my creative toolbox, which is Topaz Studio 2. That's what I like to call it. So what I'm going to do is duplicate my background layer again, Command or Control J, and this time we're coming to Filter, and we're going to open up Topaz Studio 2. I'm going to start with the black and white conversion here. So all we do is come up here to add filter, and where is my black and white? Right here. Now I'm just going to come here and work with all these colors. I'm going to move them to the right and to the left and see which way I want to go. I'm going to move the red to the right. Yeah, and see what it's doing. And I'm looking at the up in these clouds up in here, or the fog, or whatever you want to call it. And just, when I get to a point where I think it looks good, see that's too bright, so I'm going to pull this one back. Okay, so I'm going to find a spot where that looks good. And pretty much where it was. It's just, I just slightly, darkened it slightly. Now we're going to go to yellow. And I'm going to pull my yellow back a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Because again, I'm going for that movie look here. Let's see if there's anything in green. Not much in green. Right down here a little bit. So I might just pull that green a little bit to the left to darken that up down there. Because I might end up darkening this area up down here. I think it's a little too light down in here. Let's work with aqua here. Okay, and now blue. Ooh, yeah, blue. I'm going to pull blue back a little bit because don't want to go too crazy with it, but I like what's happening up in here. I think that's looking cool. And let's try purple. Anything with purple? Yeah, purple. I'm just going to pull that purple back a little bit. I like what's happening around these birds in here. Let's try magenta. We can lighten that sky lightens up there a little bit with the magenta. I don't want that to go too light, but maybe slightly, maybe right there. And now the gray. I think if I take the gray and move it a little bit to the left, I'll add a little bit more mood. Yeah, and drama. Yes, look at that. Don't want to go too crazy, but it's looking more ominous and like, ooh, do you dare climb this mountain here? I love what's happening back in here too. And I think a texture would work really well in this image as well. So I think we're going to work with the texture too. So far, so good. Let me think what I want to do next. Okay, I think a texture is next, and I found a texture, and I added the texture filter right here. I have made no adjustments on it yet, but I found the texture, okay? So I'm going to show you how I would adjust the texture. So let's go ahead and turn on this layer right here. And the texture I chose was this one right here, and I believe it comes with Topaz Studio 2, and it's called Egg Beater. It looks really cool. So far, I mean, that's not the way it's going to be, but you'll see. What I'm going to do with it, first off, is I'm going to change its blend mode to a really good blend mode for textures. One of the good blend modes anyway, and that's multiply. Multiply is a good one. Another good one is like overlay, or soft light. Yeah, either one of these look pretty good. So, you know what? I might end up using overlay. Overlay's looking pretty good. But let's start out with multiply. Let me start out with multiply. And what I'm going to do is take the opacity up a little bit. I think I want a little bit more because I like the mood that that's given me. And it's got this like sepia look in it, and I think it looks really good. Now, the texture looks a little too strong, and it's kind of killing my birds here a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. This is a really cool feature in the texture inside of Topaz Studio 2, and that's detail. So I'm going to take this detail and start to slide it to the left. And as I do that, the texture details start to go away. And see how my birds start coming back in? But you're still seeing some nice texture up in here. But I love the look of this. It looks really nice, and I'm really, really happy with that. And I think I'm pretty good there. Let me just check the opacity one more time. Do I want a little bit more? Yeah, I just might want just a little bit more, not much. Maybe around a 76, and I think that's looking good. Next, let's add another filter. Let's add one of my favorites, and that's the precision contrast filter. And I'm trying this for the first time here, so we're going to just take the micro and bump this up a little bit and see what we get. Ooh, yeah. I don't want to go too crazy here, but it also pulls out some of the details in the filter here. But it looks good, and I like what's happening to this mist up in here. But look at this, man. This looks really cool. Let's try some low contrast. Don't want to go too crazy, but maybe a little bit of low. Let's see what medium does. And go both ways on these and see what they do. That's to the right. This is to the left. Okay, to the left adds some an interesting look as well, but that's not the mood I'm in today. I'm going to move it. I'm going to leave this right where it is. Now, if you double-click medium, it'll get it right back. Now, the high, let's take the high to the right a little bit. And, I think I'm going to leave it right where it is, too. So I'm going to double-click high and get it right back where it was. And then you can also play with this equalization here. Right now, it's on medium. That's where it defaults. Let's try low. And you'll see it change to low. Here's medium. And here is high. I'm not getting a whole. There's a little bit of change there. I'm just going to leave it on medium. And I think that's looking good. Now let's shut off this layer, precision contrast. So here's the before and here's the after. I really, really like it. The only thing I think I need to do here is the bottom of this mountain here is a little light here, and I just want to pull that back just a little bit. I'm just going to come up to add a filter and grab a basic adjustment filter. I'm just going to take the exposure and pull it back a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to layer mask that in. It's just a simple brush mask here. I'm just going to come up to my layer mask and come to the little three dots here. Click on here and click invert. That puts a hide all layer mask on here. Get my brush tool, make sure my edge aware. I'm just going to shut my edge aware off for this. I'm just going to take my radius and adjust my radius size, maybe right around there, and make sure my transparency is moved the whole way to the right, which gives me white paint. And I'm just going to come in here and just paint a couple spots here, just to tone this area down. I'm not being very careful here. All I have to do is make it look right. Right like that. And I think that looks pretty good. See, it just kind of balances out the image a little bit. And if I felt I needed make that a little darker, I can come back here and click on basic adjustment and just take my exposure and pull it back just a little more. And it's only going to darken the areas where the layer mask is at. And I don't want to go too much there because I do like that little bit of lightness down in there. It kind of adds some mystery to this image right here, and I think we're good. So right now all I'm going to do is click accept, and that'll bring us right back into Photoshop. At this point, normally I would just flatten my image and save it out, and I'd be done. Because again, I'm done with my edit. I'm happy with it. I think I achieved what I was looking to do, make an artistic movie type looking image here, nice and gritty and kind of like, foreboding, for lack of a better title. So I would just flatten this image out and save it. But I want to show you how we can present this online if we wanted to put it on social media or whatever. Add a nice little matted look to it. You'll see what I mean in a second here. We'll use Topaz Studio 2 for that. But before I do that, there's one thing I want to do, and that is now that I'm in Photoshop, I'm going to get a blank layer, get my healing brush tool, because this little thing right here is bugging me. I didn't see that. I'm going to type J for my healing tool, and I'm just going to make sure I have sample all layers checked, and I'm just going to paint right over this little deal right here. And like magic, that goes away. And maybe this little white one right here. Okay, and that's good. And then if I wanted to pull the whole image together, I could do a Shift, Option, Command, E, and pull the whole image together here. Or, again, I would just flatten it and save it, and I would be done. By the way, to flatten an image, it's very simple. I'm just going to come up to this layer that I'm working on here, the highlighted layer, right-click it, and come to Flatten Image and click that, and my image is flattened. Now I can come up here and File and Save or Save As, put it wherever I want it to go. Now, if I wanted to put this on social media with a nice mat around it, I would use Topaz Studio 2 to do that. So I would just open the image back up and add a mat to it. Now, the way I would do that, here's my image right here. I would hit Command J or Control J just to duplicate the background layer. Whoops, Command J, Dave. There it is. And then I would just come up here to Filter, and let's open up Topaz Studio 2, and I'll show you how we can use the digital picture frame just to add a mat. You don't just have to add picture frames, you can just add mats as well. Click Add Filter and come to the digital frame. Click on that. Easiest way of doing this is just it's a preset that comes with Topaz Studio 2. Click on presets here, and you want to choose the one that says small white mat. So I'm just going to click on that because this is the one I like, and click apply. And there's our small white mat right there. Now you can come and change the mat size and so on and so forth. This is not a tutorial about that. I just want to show you how cool this is. So we have our mat right there. I'm just using the preset. I'm happy with it. All I do is click accept. That brings me back into Photoshop, but isn't that cool? So now I have this really cool image that has a mat on it. I can put this on social media and it'll look really awesome up there. I hope you enjoyed this one today. I had a lot of fun bringing this to you. Don't forget, I'm linking this image in the description below in case you want to follow along with me. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you have a lot of good time now that you can experiment and practice working with Photoshop, Topaz Studio 2, Luminar, and all this really cool stuff that we get to create with. And don't forget to get that artistic license out, because you can do anything you want and nobody can stop you. So that's really cool. Hey, if you enjoyed this video today, please give it a like and share it with your friends. If you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe and click that bell notification icon. And then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll be notified about it.